A Course in Miracles Workbook, Lesson 44. God is the light in which I see.
This lesson means that God's love helps you see clearly, like a bright light that shows the truth. Without that light, things can look confusing or scary. When you remember God's light is with you, everything becomes easier to understand and feels more peaceful.
Today we build on yesterday's idea. You cannot see in darkness, and you cannot create light. You can make darkness and think you see in it, but light comes from creation. Darkness and creation cannot exist together, but light and life always go together because they are part of creation.
We often think we are right about what we see and feel, but this comes from the world of opposites, light and darkness, that we made up. We believe it is real and look for others to agree, but that is like the blind leading the blind. The light Jesus talks about is a symbol of heaven, not something we see with our eyes. Darkness is the ego's guilt and hate, while light is the Holy Spirit's truth, showing darkness has no power.
To see, you must understand that light comes from inside you, not outside.
When Jesus says, God is the light in which I see, he does not mean light we see with our eyes. True vision comes from right thinking, not from light outside us. If you see light around things, it is just a sign of forgiveness in your mind. These lessons remind us that light is not outside because nothing is truly outside.
You do not see outside yourself, and the ability to see is not outside you either.
The you means the part of your mind that makes choices. When Jesus says, the equipment for seeing is not outside you, he means real vision is not about your body or eyes. True vision comes from your mind joining with Jesus or the Holy Spirit, not from anything outside you.
The light that helps you see is always with you. It makes true vision possible no matter what.
In the workbook, Jesus sometimes uses God and Holy Spirit to mean the same thing, but really it is the Holy Spirit, not God, who makes vision possible. The Holy Spirit is a thought of God's light that we brought with us into the dream.
Today, we will try to reach the light within us. We will use an exercise we have practiced before and will use more often. It is hard for a mind that is not trained, but this practice is important to help us see.
Jesus understands it is hard to focus on the lessons or think about God all day. And he says we should not feel guilty for forgetting. He reminds us we are powerful learners who practiced seeing the world this way. Now, we need to unlearn these wrong ideas, which takes discipline. That is why we need the workbook. Jesus believes in us and reminds us how strong our minds are.
Today, practice at least 3 times for 3 to 5 minutes each. Practice longer if it feels easy. This exercise is simple for a trained mind, but may feel harder if your mind is still learning.
Jesus reminds us that unlearning what we have taught ourselves will be hard, and he explains why in the next part.
Your mind is no longer untrained, and you are ready for today's exercise. It may feel hard because it asks you to let go of your beliefs and made-up thoughts.
Jesus says our biggest challenge is our own resistance. We fear losing the thoughts we made up, including our idea of who we are. Facing the truth can feel scary because it seems like a threat. Since we identify with our beliefs, questioning them feels personal. These lessons challenge the ego, which tries to protect itself by keeping us away from the truth.
When you practice this, you let go of everything you believe now and all the thoughts you have created.
Jesus asks you to let go of your beliefs and made-up thoughts, not just some. This can feel scary, so people often change the teachings of A Course in Miracles to make them easier. But Jesus is clear. If you follow his lessons, the ego will disappear. He says, while you practice in this way, you leave behind everything you now believe and all the thoughts you have made up. Let us explore this idea further.
This is actually being free from hell. But to the ego, it feels like losing who you are and falling into hell.
The biggest fear everyone has is losing their sense of self or individuality. Because we value the self so much, it is normal to feel resistance to the workbook lessons.
If you step away from the ego even a little, you will see that its fear and arguments do not matter.
Jesus speaks about the decision maker in your mind, the part that can choose. You either stand with the ego or with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. It is always one or the other. The ego is not separate. It is just a thought we made real, the part of our mind that likes being separate and opposes the Holy Spirit. Jesus describes the ego as if it were separate to show how much power we give it by believing in it. It is simply a part of how we see ourselves.
Remember, reaching the light means escaping darkness, even if you think differently. God is the light that helps you see, and you are trying to reach him.
To find God, we must let go of the darkness we hold onto and face the hidden hatred within. Loving Jesus means being willing to change our minds and leave the darkness behind. Jesus helps us by undoing what is wrong, clearing the way for us to choose love and truth naturally. The journey is about letting go of the ego's lies, so its darkness fades into light, bringing us closer to God.
Start by saying today's idea with your eyes open. Then slowly close them and say it a few more times. Let your mind go deeper. Ignore any distractions. Your mind will keep going unless you choose to stop it. Watch your thoughts as they pass by without getting involved, and gently let them go.
Jesus speaks to the part of you that chooses, your decision maker. Notice your thoughts. When you feel guilty or judge yourself, you make those thoughts real. Instead, observe them without judgment to see what you are doing. This helps you let go by showing how much pain the ego brings. Choosing the ego means separation and suffering. Choosing Jesus means unity, peace, and joy. Seeing this clearly gives you the strength to choose healing. With God's love, choosing peace becomes easy.
There is no specific way to do this exercise, but it is important to remember how valuable and holy it is. Saving yourself brings true happiness. It is the most meaningful thing you can do because it is the only thing that truly helps you.
What you are doing is very important because it is the way to escape pain and suffering. Remind yourself, I am learning from A Course in Miracles and have chosen Jesus as my teacher. I am doing these lessons to escape the pain of judging myself and others, which I no longer want. Jesus asks you to read the lessons carefully. Think about how they help you find peace, and then practice them. Jesus talks about resistance again, reminding us that it is part of our journey.
If you feel resistance, stop and repeat today's idea with your eyes closed. If you feel afraid, you can open your eyes for a moment to feel safe, but try to close them again and continue the exercise as soon as you can.
Jesus gently asks us to notice when we resist or feel afraid of these lessons.
If you are doing the exercises right, you should feel relaxed and like you are getting closer to the light. Think of light as formless and limitless as you let go of the thoughts of this world.
Jesus talks about light as a thought in the Christ mind because it has no form. The reflection of this light in our minds is forgiveness, which has form because we think we need to forgive others. Jesus uses the words light and real thoughts the same way as right mind and Christ mind.
Remember, the thoughts of the world cannot keep you stuck unless you give them the power to do so.
This is why we are not victims of the world we see. Nothing in this world can upset us unless we give it the power to do so. A key idea in A Course in Miracles is that we are responsible for our own feelings. The world may seem to cause us pain, but the truth is that we are the dreamer of the dream. The miracle teaches that we create our own experiences. Jesus reminds us that we must recognize this to find peace.
Repeat today's idea often throughout the day, with your eyes open or closed, whichever feels better. Just make sure you don't forget it and stay determined to remember.
Jesus wants us to take these lessons seriously and practice A Course in Miracles every day. It is not about just understanding the words. We need to practice them. We must bring our ego's illusions into the light of the Holy Spirit's truth and understand why we are doing this.
God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which I see.